Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm 10 Tampa Bay Meteorologist Grant Gilmore. 10:05 right now on our Tuesday morning, taking a live look over at Kennedy Space Center of this massive moon rocket, the SLS, or Artemis 1, which NASA has tried to launch several times, and between technical problems, valve leaks, faulty sensors, the weather, um, it's been hard to get this thing to launch, but hopefully they will be able to launch it successfully late tonight into tomorrow morning. So the launch window opens up at 1:04, and it's a 2-hour window. So at any point between 1:04 and 3:04, they will be able to launch this to be able to at least try to achieve their mission, which is going to be to, well, obviously launch the rocket. That's the first thing. But ultimately, the Orion spacecraft, which is sitting on the top of the SLS, which is the launch system, that Orion spacecraft is then going to be put into orbit around the moon. And then it'll do a couple of loops around the moon, a couple of orbits, and then it will return to Earth and splash down. So right now, the forecast is for a 90% chance of good weather conditions to be able to launch. There could be some cumulus clouds in the area, and depending on the conditions within those cumulus clouds and how high they are, that would be the only thing that might keep them from launching. From a weather perspective, obviously there has to be a lot that goes right with the fueling of it as they fuel up those core stages and make sure that everything goes smoothly with that. So fingers crossed that we're able to launch the rocket later today. I can show you the forecast over on the East Coast. We do have a cold front coming our way. I'll talk about that in just a second, especially with the impacts to Tampa Bay. But looking at the forecast overnight tonight, so this is Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning, you see it's just a couple of scattered clouds that could be passing over Cape Canaveral. Otherwise, mostly clear skies. Temperatures will be in the middle 70s. So if you are planning to head over there, good for you. Jealous. It should be a really pretty launch. Those night launches are really something else. It's amazing how bright those rockets are, and the flames from those rockets to light up the sky. I think we should be able to see the launch here in Tampa Bay. So if you're going to be up late tonight, or maybe waking up early in the morning, depending on what your schedule's like, I think the clear skies across the state should allow us to be able to see it. There may be a couple of clouds between here and the east coast of Florida, but hopefully we'll be able to see a launch wherever we are across the state. And that kind of leads us into the second thing that we'll be talking about here is the change in the weather. This cold front is going to take temperatures that will be in the low mid 80s this afternoon to actually drop those temperatures into the 50s by Friday morning. I see somebody just asking here, Thaddeus asking, is this SpaceX or NASA? This is a NASA rocket. So SpaceX does the Falcon rockets. They just did the Falcon Heavy rocket. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago? Maybe that was 2 weeks ago. The Falcon Heavy, which is 3 Falcon 9 rockets all strapped together. And they sent a satellite up into geosynchronous orbit, which means they sent it up into orbit where it spins at the same speed as the Earth is rotating on its axis. So this is a NASA rocket. This is NASA's mission to ultimately get astronauts back onto the moon. So this is the first test flight for, we'll go back and we'll look at Artemis here. This is the test flight for the whole system. So they'll send Orion up. There's no astronauts on this mission here. So they'll just do an orbit around the moon. They'll come back, splash down, make sure everything's working right. The next mission, so Artemis 2, will actually put astronauts up there at the top of the rocket. They'll launch it. The astronauts will just go up. They will orbit around the moon. They won't land on the moon. They'll just go up to do a survey of the lunar surface and check out and make sure they know exactly where they're going to land. They will come back, and then I believe Artemis 3 will be the mission where the astronauts will then go land on the moon. And if I remember correctly, this should be not just the first Americans to go back to the moon, but it will be the first woman and the first person of color to land on the moon as well, which will be really cool to see. So first things first, we got to get SLS off the ground. This is the test flight, if you will, and then we'll send astronauts up on Artemis 2 and so on and so forth. And then it opens up the whole big picture of what NASA is trying to do, and that's to kind of create an outpost on the surface of the moon to perform experiments and kind of colonize it a little bit, get people up there kind of the way that we have people and researchers, astronauts in the International Space Station. They're going to try to do the same thing, but have an outpost on the surface of the moon to be able to do those surveys, to be able to do experiments, to keep people there, and then honestly use that as a launching point to send future missions onward into deep space and then ultimately to Mars, which is crazy to think about that that's in the plans, in our future. And the beginning of that whole mission, that long-range goal, starts with this launch, with Artemis, which hopefully comes later today, or tonight, I guess. Back to the temperatures, though, across Tampa Bay. 83 today. We're dropping our temps down to near 50 by Friday morning. It's nothing crazy. We've been this cool so far this year. As early as October 20th, we had a low temperature of 49 degrees. You have to go back to March, though, since the last time that we were colder than that. So March 13th, we had a low of 41, and then the 30s last January. So it's been a while since we've been much colder than where we have been, but certainly the time of year where you really expect to start to see those cooler temperatures. Already beginning to see the early fringe effects of this approaching cold front. Clearwater Beach, not the best camera view right now. Let me see if I can change that up. Goodness. Nothing like looking at the ground, right? Let me see here. That should fix the view. There we go. I mean, not a great view. At least you can see the beach there instead of looking at the concrete. But some high clouds that are streaming in and ahead of the approaching cold front that we're going to see. Still, despite that cloud cover, temperatures warmer right now than they were this time yesterday. That southerly flow drawing in that warmth, drawing in some moisture as well. It's pretty muggy out there. Temperatures in the mid-70s, I think we'll round out there in the low mid-80s later on this afternoon. Just looking at some other conditions around the area, you see the satellite radar, those high clouds that are streaming in. Now, the green that's showing up on the radar, I don't think a lot of that rain's actually reaching the ground. I think a lot of it's evaporating. There may be like a sprinkle, a raindrop falling, but most of it's evaporating before it actually hits the ground. Much more rain back toward that cold front, but a lot of the showers are actually outpacing the front itself. So they'll lose a lot of their intensity as we go throughout the day. A lot of those showers dissipating, drying up, and eventually, once the front moves through Tampa Bay, I think there will be a couple of showers right along that front as it moves through. The Futurecast is going to show you that, but ultimately, behind the front is what we're going to be talking about into the weekend and really Thursday and Friday, and that's the colder air. You see 20s up in Nebraska, 30s in Kansas, 30s in Missouri, 44 right now in Little Rock. In fact, look at Dallas, 38 degrees right now. So that colder air really plunging south across the plains into northeastern Texas this morning. So southeasterly flow for us ahead of that front, and that's where we're getting those temperatures in the 70s right now, 80s probably by this afternoon, and then you see a lot of the rain just dries up before the front actually gets here. But I do think as the front pushes across the eastern Gulf and starts to approach Tampa Bay through early tomorrow morning, we'll get a couple of those showers developing, maybe even a crack of thunder. No severe weather with this cold front, but there will be a couple of showers scattered along it. And then the front starts to move through. By daybreak tomorrow morning, the front starts to move south, and we'll see the rain clear out. The clouds will clear out quickly as well. And that'll be the point where that cooler air begins to rush in from the north. So we're saying high temperatures in the middle and upper 70s tomorrow. It's more likely high temperatures through midday tomorrow, with cooling temperatures through the second half of the afternoon into the evening hours as that cooler, drier air begins to move in. You see temperatures leveling off there around 1 or 2 o'clock, and then by 3 actually starting to cool off. 74 at 3. Small chance for a couple of stray showers, though I think the chance of rain will be pretty minimal after the front moves through tomorrow. And then, I mean, your low temperatures dropping down to around 50 degrees by Friday morning. I mean, it's not an Arctic chill by any means, but still cool. Lows will be in the upper 40s in some places over the Nature Coast. High temperatures will be in the middle 60s. There you see the low temperatures Friday morning, looking at middle and upper 40s through most of the area north of I-4, south of I-4, mainly in the low and mid 50s. That's Friday morning. Friday afternoon, high temperatures will probably be in the middle 60s. But today's high of 83, probably the last time that we see the 80s for quite a while. It doesn't look like we get back into the 80s until maybe 2 weeks from now. We'll see. It looks like we're in a little bit of a stretch of some cooler temperatures for now, which isn't a bad thing. It's kind of nice to get into that cooler pattern as we head into Thanksgiving and kind of the holiday spirit, I guess, right? But some showers possible with this cold front. Once the front moves through, I think the rain is done. Here's how it looks on the 7-day forecast. We'll see another little system move through over the weekend. It might bring us a couple of showers. Right now, just a 30% chance of rain, I think, for Saturday and Sunday. By the way, Saturday is Miles for Moffitt, the big fundraiser for the Moffitt Cancer Research Center here in Tampa. So 10 Tampa Bay is a big sponsor, big proud supporter of Moffitt Cancer Center. So we'll be out there. Frank Wiley, Caitlin Lockerbie are going to be the MCs for the event. I'll be out running. My daughters were going to be out there running the Run with Raymond little race for the kids. It's always a fun time. There's still time to register if you haven't registered for that or if you haven't done it before. Highly encourage you to do it. It's a great event, fun time, some amazing stories about survivors and why people are running and what people are running for. So just a great atmosphere down at Amalie Arena. We leave from Amalie, we run along Bayshore, and then the run finishes up. There's a 10K, there's a 5K, there's a little 1 mile walk or run, and then there's the kids dash, the Run with Raymond, which is always a great time to see the kids run. It's like a 20-yard run right along the street there, right in front of Amalie, so it's good stuff. But that's Saturday morning. We might see a sprinkle or two out there for that, but I think the 30% chance of rain out there for both days, Saturday and Sunday, will be for the afternoon hours. So that's it for me, guys. Just a quick update for you as we head into our second half of our Tuesday morning. 10 Tampa Bay meteorologist Bobby Deskins is going to be here at midday to give an update on TV, and we'll just keep you updated as things go along with Artemis and, of course, this cold front. So keep checking back for more updates right here on 10 Tampa Bay on YouTube, Facebook, and, of course, on our website on 10tampabay.com, as well as our app. We've got you covered wherever you want to be. We've got those updates for you. So I'll leave you guys with one final look of Artemis as we hopefully see this thing launch at 1:04 this morning. Have a great day.